Welcome to Ron's RC Garage in Peoria, Arizona. It is Sunday, August 27th, Sunday morning in fact. About half the time I'm not up this early, because I usually race on Saturday nights, and I decided not to last Saturday. But the Saturday prior to that, we had a third race of a 5-race summer series. Had some interesting things happen. Was fortunate enough, and I'm going to say lucky enough, we did win my main, and that's the first series win I've had. So that was fun. It didn't come without some trial and tribulation, though. So we took the time off this week and put new upper and lower arms on the T3. The upper arms, I run the Mugen. I've never broken one. However, the hinge pin holes started getting pretty loose, and the front end was getting pretty sloppy. And the lower arms, I haven't broken one in a long time, but as you can see, that's straight. On the back side, not. It's got that bow in it, and everything was just kind of twisted up in there. It was time to put some new on there and make it tight and crisp again. Did that. Keith from Hillbilly RC wanted a side-by-side on the B3 and the T3. So Keith, there they are. You can see the size difference. They share a lot of the same parts. I did have something fail 2 Saturday nights ago that I have never had go bad before, and I haven't heard of many people having it fail. We broke a steering rack. It was the first qualifier, about 3 minutes in, took a little jump, had no serious contact. Pitched it off to the left to set up for the next jump, and it went straight. And first thing in my mind, oh my gosh, I got a runaway. But I had throttle and brake, just no steering. So Marshall brought it back to me, and this rack was in 2 pieces. Never broke one before. Another observation when I got home and everything is it's bent also. It's supposed to be flat. Here's a new one. And it's been on there for over a year, and I do race this truck virtually every Saturday. And it shares the same rack as the buggy. But of course, a truck is just a lot tougher on parts than a buggy, I think. The little buggy tires versus the truggy tires. The arms are almost a third again longer on the truck. A lot more leverage. Tougher on the wheel bearings with the bigger tires. Truck is quite a bit heavier, so it's really harder on the diffs. I set up, especially a rear diff in a truck, pretty darn tight. I mean, it still rolls nice and everything, but there is no backlash in that ring and pinion. It's not binding, but there's zero. And on the truck, at least every 2 weeks, I grease the ring and pinions on them. Another nice thing about these T3s, they're so quick and easy to get the diffs out. No big deal. And I've never had one fail. Never had to replace anything in them. So that's how that's working out. I got some good advice from one of our really good RDs. He says this fairly frequently. We're lining up for a main event. There'll be 12 or 14 cars up there before they send us out in our qualifying order. All you guys that race have seen this happen, and it happens to pros. It happens everywhere. That first lap with 12, 14, 16 guys can be hectic, and you can lose 4 or 5 cars right there. So the one thing Chris Allen reminds us, hey guys, let me tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you one more time. You can't win the race on the first lap, but you can lose it on the first lap. You need to all try and remember that. We all do. I know we all get, hyped up and want to go, and regardless of where you're starting, let the thing shake out a little bit. Take your time. Usually these things are at least 20 minutes long, sometimes longer, even on just a club night. And that's plenty of time. Let the attrition play out and then get after it. So save your equipment until it's time to go. That's just the way a lot of guys, most guys don't do it. I do it, and I tend to finish my main events, and usually have a good finish. And occasionally snap off a W. So that's that. One other thing. This happened to me quite a while ago. turn on the radio, fire up the truck, and the wheels are just sitting there quivering like this. No radio input. So I got with I run high-tech servos. I run 7955 TGs on both steering and brake. I run these servos for over 3 years now. I've never had one fail. They're adequate for my level of racing. They make faster servos. They make more powerful servos. But a lot of guys still run these 7955 TGs. And when I find something that bulletproof, I'm staying with them. However, this quivering had me concerned. Wasn't sure what it was all about. So at the DNC this year on a Thursday, I went over and talked to the high-tech rep, and I asked him what he thought. He said, I know exactly what it is. He says, what we do on these servos, the lower gear, we call it the sacrificial gear. We put a weak link in the chain. So he gave me a part number of these. He says you won't find this in a catalog or anywhere else, Jim. He was just telling me this is what you run. So the part number is a 55014. These little gears come, they're just a little regular little guy. They come 3 to a pack, and they're about $7 or $8. And all I do, and they fixed two of my servos now. No problem. They don't do quiver anymore. First thing I do is take the servo out of the radio tray, take the servo horn off it, and clean the servo really good. Take the 4 screws out of the bottom, and ease the top plate off it. Take the gear pack out. This little guy is laying right there in the bottom. So ease out the old one, ease in a new one. Then take yourself, I just use a toothpick and some black poly grease, and just grease the bearings a little bit. Put a little grease around the gears all the way through the servo. Ease it back together. Just fit everything, no force, finesse. Ease it back together, tighten everything up, and you're golden. You're good to go. And it's a money saver. These servos run right at $100 a piece. They come with a good guarantee. I've never had to send anything in for warranty. I've never had one fail, as I said before. And I know I'm not real fast, but I know how to crash with the best of them. And especially, a truck, again, is tougher on these servos and things like that. They give things a real beating because of the leverage and the weight. So that's kind of what we got going on. We're looking forward to racing next Saturday. Let's see how that's going to work out. Keith, I hope this helped you with your perspective of the B3 and the T3. Now you get that buggy of yours out there and start running that thing. That's Hillbilly RC. Make it happen. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a safe rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you later.